Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mark Walters with BigFanboy.com, and I'm here for another midnight movie review. Even though it is not midnight, my last midnight movie review was recorded much later than we wanted it to go. This one's going a little bit earlier, but hey, I couldn't wait. I couldn't contain my excitement, so I figured I would go ahead and do a live stream and tell you guys about John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, which opens up this weekend. Keanu Reeves is back as John Wick once again, and it's very exciting to see him back in this role of the first two movies. And, I couldn't wait to see what they did with the third film. So I'm going to get right into it and tell you guys what you can expect from John Wick Chapter 3. Don't worry, I don't give away any major spoilers. I always try to leave that for you guys to check out when you see the film yourself. If you are new to my channel, BigFanboy.com is the longest running movie news and review website in the Dallas area. And I would love it if you guys would like and subscribe to our channel so you can find out more information about movies, anything in the realm of pop culture. We post a lot of interviews and a lot of other things. We're starting to do more movie reviews on YouTube, and so we want to try to keep that going. And this is just the second one I think we've posted, so hopefully we'll be doing a lot more of that as well. All right, so John Wick Chapter 3, the third chapter in the trilogy of John Wick films. And if you guys are a fan of the first two movies, chances are you're going to be very excited to see this and you're going to want to know more about it. So I'm going to do my best to tell you what you can expect without giving away any major plot points. If you saw John Wick 2, this film picks up immediately where John Wick 2 leaves off. And at the end of John Wick Chapter 2, by the way, if you haven't seen it, you probably really want to see it, and probably at least the first two John Wick movies before you see Part 3, or you're going to be really lost, because there's a lot of things tie back into the first two films in this movie. In John Wick Chapter 2, at the end of the movie, John Wick violates the rules of the Continental Hotel. And for those of you that remember in the first two films, the rules of the Continental Hotel are simple. Once you are on the Continental Hotel's grounds, you are not allowed to conduct any business. That also includes killing somebody. At the end of Chapter 2, John Wick was going after a man who had targeted him for and put a bounty on his head. When John Wick tracks him back to the Continental, he breaks the golden rule and kills the man on Continental grounds. This, of course, means that John Wick is now excommunicated. Even his friend, Winston, who is played by the great Ian McShane, who is the manager of the Continental, even Winston is no longer going to vouch for him and basically keep him safe. So now John Wick is completely and totally on his own, and that is where John Wick Chapter 3 opens up. Not only has John Wick basically violated the rules of the Continental and been excommunicated, now the bounty on his head has been doubled, and there are a lot of people going after John Wick. Adding to the problems in this newest chapter, we have an adjudicator who shows up to both the Continental and all of the other safe havens that John Wick has gone to try to basically get assistance or help. The adjudicator works for the person who is in charge of everything that's going on. This whole secret society thing that has been alluded to in the first two John Wick films, we get to see and understand a lot more about that in Parabellum. And the adjudicator that shows up is basically going to all these people like Winston at the Continental and saying, hey, you assisted John Wick when you was going against the rules. Now you're going to have to pay the price for that. So the stakes get a lot higher in this film. John Wick is truly 100% on the run in this movie. He has nowhere that he can be safe. So by the end of the film, we basically see him fighting for his life and trying to fight to survive. He does call upon some people he hasn't talked to in a long time, including a character that you're probably going to fall in love with in this movie. Sophia is played by the very lovely Halle Berry. And Sophia has a couple of attack dogs that help her whenever she goes into battle. And there's some really fun stuff that happens with that. The great thing about these John Wick movies, in my opinion, is the world building that they're doing. Just the simple fact that, you could have just made a movie about Keanu Reeves being this badass assassin that kills people in really creative ways, and that could have been the end of it. You didn't really have to do much more than that. But what they've done is they've constructed this universe that he exists in, and that he is, in types of people and different types of organizations trying to not only stay alive, but figure out kind of why things are happening to him and what's going on around him. We also get in this new movie a really great, I guess you could say, villain, although it's really kind of almost more of a hired gun, I guess you could say. Mark Dacascos, who, if you get Dacascos' Brotherhood of the Wolf, he also played the Crow in the Crow TV series. I've always liked Mark Dacascos. I think he's really great. And in this movie, he gets to play a guy that kind of goes head to head with John Wick, and also ends up kind of exacting some punishment on some of the people that helped John Wick to survive. And he plays a really great character because, he could have, again, simple assassin type that goes head to head with John Wick, but instead they play up kind of this idea of him being almost like a fanboy of John Wick, like really admiring him. And, even though he knows this is someone he's going to have to go after and try to kill, he's like, he can't help but contain his excitement about, hey, this is John Wick I'm going up against and everything. And I thought that was really kind of fun that they played up that character the way they did. We also get to see Lawrence Fishburne back again, playing the character that we saw in the second movie. We get to see more with him, and we kind of get an understanding about sort of the weight of his character and like the fact that he's more important than maybe we realized he was originally. By the end of this film, you really kind of get a sense about that, and I thought that was really great. As far as the fight scenes and the gunfights and all that sort of stuff, it's awesome. I mean, what can you say? If you've seen any of the other two John Wick movies, you pretty much know you're going to get some great stuff. They're always going to do a good job of that. And I want to mention, first of all, that one of the things that I think makes these movies really great, the director of the film is Chad Stahelski, who was involved in the first two John Wick movies. And once again, really, because Chad comes from a background of being a stuntman, once again is able to bring a lot of really creative fight sequences and action sequences to this movie. Motorcycle chases that are really incredible. Some of the stuff they do in this film, I mean, I don't know how they're pulling it off. I really don't. I mean, it's obvious that certain things are implementing CGI. They're using CGI to kind of work out some of those fight sequences, and it's very effectively done. It's very convincing, but it's just so well done. Another thing is like certain moments with certain characters, the way that they die. I think this is probably, and I know this is saying a lot for me to say this, this is the most violent John Wick movie that we've seen yet. There's stuff that happens in this movie that is so extreme and so over the top. It kind of like movies. So there's that as well. But it's all done very, very cleverly. And another thing that I really admired about this film is that they kind of play up the idea of, even in the midst of battle, even when you have these guys that are beating the crap out of each other and trying to kill one another, there's almost a sense of honor that comes with it. Guys are fighting John Wick, and they have this extreme admiration for who he is and kind of his legacy, that they almost like, they have moments where they could have easily just wiped them out. And it's kind of like, they're talking to one another and they're like, this is John Wick. We're fighting John Wick. It's kind of like meeting this really famous celebrity for the first time. So rather than just take the cheap shot, they want to fight with honor. And I really appreciated that, because I think it kind of speaks to a lot of what the character of John Wick has always been about. So yeah, we get some really great stuff with that as well. I also thought it was great that Lance Reddick, who plays the concierge of the Continental, he gets a much bigger and more expanded role. And we really get a sense of the Continental as a hotel and just how important and how much steeped in history that is to the whole legacy of this franchise. So if you like the first two John Wick movies, chances are you're going to like this one a lot. I dare say this is the best of the three. And I know that's saying a lot. And I'm sure some people are going to differ on that. Some people are going to say, they thought the first one was the best, or they thought the second one was the best. But I think this very much is kind of the cherry on top. And what's so great about this film is that it really does help the trilogy of John Wick films feel very cohesive, feel like they really play well off of one another, while at the same time setting up events for yet another installment. And I think that they could do some really interesting things moving forward as far as where they go with the John Wick storyline here. We've introduced new characters in this movie. Halle Berry's character, Sophia, she could easily be, there could be a whole backstory about her that we don't know about yet. They actually allude to it in this movie, but they don't tell you too much. And that's one of the things I always love about these John Wick films, is that they keep enough of a mystery there to where, you know, you want to keep coming back and finding out more and finding out where all of this kind of fits together. So John Wick 3, I give it an absolutely excellent review. I enjoyed this movie immensely. I cannot wait to see it again. It's so much fun. It is incredibly violent, so prepare yourself for that. But if you like those first two John Wick movies, chances are you're going to find this one just as entertaining and just as enjoyable as well. And one of the great villains of the John Wick movies in this film, the Adjudicator, you are going to hate this character. You are going to hate them with a passion, but in the best possible way. So get ready for that. John Wick 3, or John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, opens up this weekend. For more information, check out bigfanboy.com. We've also got a written movie review up there that you guys can check out. And if you see the shirt that I'm wearing that says The Continental on it, shirt. So here's what I want you to do. If you guys like and subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment down below and tell us what your favorite thing about the John Wick movies so far has been. We will choose a winner at random. And I think we're going to run a contest. We're probably going to keep this open until the end of the month of May. So if you see this video, and if you like and leave a comment down below about your favorite aspect of the John Wick movies, and you could win a Continental t-shirt. We will mail it to you. This contest is open to U.S. residents only. All we need is your address. So we will pick a winner at random at the end of the month. And all you have to do is basically send us your address, and we'll send you a shirt. How's that for cool? Is that cool? You like that? Anyway, that's it. I'm Mark Walters of bigfanboy.com. Join us on our next midnight movie review, which will hopefully actually be at midnight instead of early or later. And for more information on movie news and reviews, check out bigfanboy.com. Also want to tell you guys about the Dallas Comic Show, which is coming up August 10th and 11th. If you live in the Dallas area or the Texas area, Dallas Comic Show is a great Comic-Con experience that won't break the bank. You'll find it very accessible and fun for the whole family. Find out more information about that at dallascomicshow.com. We will see you guys later. Bigfanboy.com out.